So what we've got here in terms of what I'm talking about with browser-based working is that, especially on a Chromebook, and mine usually looks worse than this, you've got all of these browsers open at one point.
Yeah.
Which so I'm gonna just teach you a couple of things to get round overload of browsers. First thing we're going to look at is tabs and how to group them. So as you can see here, I've just been working and opening things up, and some of these are to do with school. If I want to see what they look like on their actual page, I can just hover over the top of them. And if I wanted to group them, now on a Chromebook, you probably use 2-finger click for mouse.
Yep.
You know, yeah, cool. So I'm going to use 2-finger click, and I'm just going to I'm using that at the moment, but this I'm going to need later. So I'm going to 2-finger click, and I get a menu up. I'm going to add this new tab to a new group, planning. Make it pink. Okay, and then as I go down, I'm just going to 2-finger click. I'm going to add that to that planning group.
You know, the 2-finger click, is that the right click on the mouse?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So right click on the mouse if you've got a mouse that you've plugged in, but otherwise you've got a 2-finger click on the actual pad of a ThinkPad that will do exactly the same thing. I'm just going to add all of these tabs, these ones, to my planning group, and you see it starts moving them around for me.
Yeah.
And then I've also been doing some looking at shopping, so I'm just going to add tab to a new group called shopping for later.
Okay.
Orange, and then return, and then these I can just add that group, so that I've now sorted those out as well. And when I click on shopping for later, it condenses all of that into planning. And so what I did have as something that was quite overwhelming and a lot of different tabs, I've now been able to start sectioning out.
Okay, that's useful.
So what happens though when you close your Chromebook and you want to go home and you want to do that shopping for later? Problem is that tabs are only they are live whilst your Chrome profile is open on that device.
Right.
The minute you leave that device and go onto a different device, that will disappear. So these are great for in the moment, sort of going forward during a school day. I used to have all my classes set up on different tabs during the day. But if you want something a bit more permanent and you want something to open later, what you can do is, instead of putting them into tabs, we can bookmark. So I'm just going to show you this actually with this planning one. If I wanted to do some planning later, I'm going to go down all of these tabs and I'm going to bookmark them into a folder. So click on the tab, click on the star that's on the end of the URL that, as you can see, says bookmark this tab. Bookmark the tab, and I'm going to call it, I'm going to make a new folder. New folder. Sorry, it needs to go in there. New folder called planning, just like I've done with my tab there. Let's save that now into there. And the great thing is, now I've created that, because Google's so intuitive, I go down all these tabs and I click on that, it automatically knows I want to be putting that in planning.
Planning.
So I'm just going to click tab, click star, click done. Click tab, click star, click done. Click tab, click star, click done. Okay. So at this point, I'm going home, I don't need this anymore. So I can now close that group. Let's close it. Now imagine you're now at home. You need to get all of those open again. And it would have taken you ages to find it from all the different places. But what we can do is, instead of, we've got this planning one that we set up for ourselves. Now, when you go home, you open Chrome, everything syncs. So these bookmarks will still be there on your Chrome profile. And you right click, you're now going to open all 6 in a new tab group. Click, and they all just open up. So now you've taken your tabs that you had open and you've transferred them, and they've opened up, and it's taken that little time. That's a major time saver, in my opinion. So that's, and what I used to have for this one was I used to have start of day, and I'd have in a folder, I'd have Drive, my classroom, my calendar, and email, the email.gdst.net, so that I'd have everything that I wanted. If you've got anything else that you open up that you open up at the start of the day,
Okay.
put all those tabs.
So you've put it all in one folder on the.
All in one folder, call it start of day, and then every morning when you open up your Chromebook, you're just going to open up those tabs, and it does it so quickly, it does it instantly.
Mm.
So that is tabs. The next thing I'm going to just make sure you know is, before I start talking about it, is the waffle.
Waffle.
Right. So this waffle, I used to call it the Rubik's Cube, but now I call it the waffle. So that's the official term for it. So this is the waffle up here, and this is where all your apps are.
Yep.
So these are all the apps that you should have.
Yep.
And yours as well. And then you can also add more from Google Workspace Marketplace. So there are other ones that you can have in there as well that might be particular to chemistry as well. So do have a little look through that when you've got a mo, or ask other colleagues what they would recommend as well. So this leads us on nicely now to going into my drive. So I'm going to now open up my drive from the waffle.
Mm-hmm.
The waffle exists on anything that is a Google document.
Right.
Basically, Google Doc or Google app will always have the waffle so that you can get it from somewhere else. Okay, these ones are not my documents. These are shared and they don't have the Google app, but everything else, if I just open up another page, you can see there.
Yeah.
That is that. But if I went to Amazon, I wouldn't have a Google waffle because I'm not Google.
Right.